Hi, welcome to Lesson 19, Session 3. Today is our refine session. As I always tell you, this is when we take everything we've learned, in this case, about multiplying by a fraction, and we put it into a nice, neat little package, and we show everything that we know, and we kind of put it all together using all of the elements that we've learned over the last couple of days. Now, in this case, today, you're going to be really happy because there's only 5 problems to do today. So normally we have 8 or 9 in a refine session, and this is a really short refine session. So I think that you guys are going to be really excited about how quickly this will go. So with that, go ahead and turn to page 399 in your Ready Classroom Math Workbook. All right, so we are, like I mentioned before, only have 2 pages. Today, I'm not going to tell you how to do the problems. I'm just going to go through and walk you through each question, and you will do the work on your own. So number 1 says this: describe. Tell what multiplication problem the model shows. Explain why. So tell me, what is the multiplication problem that we are seeing here? So you're going to have one fraction multiplied by another fraction equals a third fraction. So, and then I want you to, over here in just a few words, explain to me what this really means. For number 2, Landon said that 2/3 times 1/6 equals 5/6. Now, Landon is wrong. So I want you to explain how to find the correct product. Now, they said that they want you to tell how Landon found his product. I will be honest, when I looked at this, I had to stare at it for a really long time before I could figure out how Landon got the answer of 5/6. And what it was that Landon did was that Landon made two-thirds into an equivalent fraction to make it into sixths. So Landon turned 2/3 into 4/6 and then added 4/6 plus 1/6 equals 5/6. Some of you might have gotten there on your own. I'm not sure. But for me, for today, rather than telling me what Landon did wrong, I would really prefer that you explain to me how Landon should have solved this. So I want you to solve it, and then in words, I want you to write how you would solve this problem using math language. You might use words like numerator, denominator. You might use the word product. Any of those words are going to be using good high academic language. I'd like for you to practice doing that. Now, for number 3, it says analyze, fill in the products in the table, look for patterns as you work. 1/4 times 1/3, or 1/4 of 1/3, tell me the answer. 2/4 of 1/3, 3/4 of 1/3, 4/4 of 1/3. And then 1/4 of 2/3, 2/4 of 2/3, 3/4 of 2/3, and 4/4 of 2/3. I want you to go through, do each of these problems, and then I want you to look specifically at the numerators and denominators of 2 fractions and how they relate to the numerator and the denominator of their product. So, for example, 1/4 of 1/3, or 1/4 times 1/3, is 1/12. So what I want you to do is, in words, I want you to explain what you recognize or notice about all the numerators in your factors and your product, and the denominators in your factors and your product. What do you recognize? Remember that little, maybe that little sheet that I shared with you? That might be come in handy here. Tell me what you recognize. Number 4. On number 4, part A says start with a sheet of paper. Fold it in half. So you're actually going to do this. Get yourself a piece of paper. It doesn't matter what size the piece of paper. It will really help, though, if it's like a piece of just like normal paper. Okay? Now you're going to take this paper and you're going to fold this paper in half. It doesn't matter if you fold it in half like a hamburger or in half like a hot dog. Either way, you're folding your paper in half. Okay? Now it says fold it in half and then fold it in half again. So I took that piece of paper, I folded it in half. Now I'm taking this piece of paper and I'm folding it in half again. So now I've got this piece of paper that's folded in half 2 times. Then it says continue folding the paper in half. After each fold, fill in the blanks to tell what fraction of a whole each equal part is. So let's go back to when I just folded it one time. So when I folded the paper, it used to be whole, and I folded it in half. When I open it up, here is 1/2, here is 1/2. So 1/2 of one whole is 1/2. Because when I folded this whole piece of paper in half, 1/2 of it is 1/2 of the whole. Now, for part 2, it says, what is 1/2 of 1/2? So, since I've already folded it in half, and then I folded it in half again, I know that, sorry, it's not recognizing my folds. It's a little hard to see the folds. There we go. So we already decided that this here is 1/2. Now, what is half of this half? It's 1, and then how many are in the whole? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1/4. So 1/2. So 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. Now I want you to continue doing this on your own, folding your paper and continually folding your paper into halves. Now, when you look at the denominators, so we're going to look at the denominators of the product. So like this 2, this 4, whatever you get here, whatever you get here. Each time you multiply by 1/2, what happens to the denominator? So when you go from 2 to 4, from 4 to this denominator, from this denominator to this denominator, what happens? Tell me that in words. And you're going to see a pattern real quick once you get there. And up here, you're going to continue folding by 1/2. Now, after you answer that, it says, without folding the paper, what do you think the next product in the pattern will be? So what is, oh, just kidding. Those are not 1/2s. If you wrote it, erase it. I'm wrong. Where's my whiteout? I apologize. All right, you're going to take this 1/4 and put 1/4 there. Then whatever the denominator is here is going to be your new denominator there. There we go. My apologies. So what is 1/2 of 1/4, or 1/2 times 1/4? And then you're going to get an answer, and then you're going to go here. So without folding the paper, what do you think the next product will be? Once you see the pattern, you should be able to tell me what the next product will be. And then finally in part C, now look at the sizes of the equal parts in the folded paper. Each time you fold the paper in half, what happens to the size of the parts? So every time you fold this paper, what happens to the parts? First we had a half, then we had more halves, then we had more halves, and so on and so forth. And then write in words what happens to the size of the parts. Finally, Jeanette says that 3/8 of 1/2 is 3/16 because 1/8 of 1/2 is 1/16. Is Jeanette correct? So I would find out what is 3/8 of 1/2. You can use a line, a number line, you can use an area model, or you can just use an equation and solve it. But is 3/8 of 1/2 3/16? And is it true that 1/8 of 1/2 is 1/16? So check and make sure both of these equations are true. And with that, believe it or not, you've reached the end of today's math lesson, and you will likely have a short little math quiz that goes along with today's math lesson. Otherwise, if you have any questions, as always, email your teacher, and otherwise, we will see you next time.